Something is leaving your life right now. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly. And if you are like most people, you have been confused by it, praying against it, trying to hold on to it with everything you have. But what if the very thing you have been fighting to keep is the exact thing God has been intentionally and lovingly pulling away from you? Today we are going to talk about something most churches never address directly. Not the obvious sins everyone already warns you about. The quiet, painful, confusing removals that God orchestrates in the lives of people. He is actually preparing for something greater. And why your resistance to these removals might be the only thing standing between you and the life He has been trying to give you. John chapter 15 verse 2 says, "Every branch in me that bears no fruit He takes away, and every branch that does bear fruit He prunes, that it may bear more fruit." Prunes. Not destroys. Not punishes. Prunes. A gardener does not prune a plant because it did something wrong. A gardener prunes because growth demands it. Because the branch, as good as it looks right now, is carrying weight that is preventing something even better from coming through. What God removes from your life is almost never a punishment. It is almost always a preparation. So let's talk about the 5 things God quietly removes, and why you need to stop fighting Him on every single one of them. The first thing God removes is a relationship that was never built to carry your future. This is the hardest removal because it does not always involve a bad person. Sometimes it involves a good person, someone you genuinely love, someone who was right for a previous season of your life but simply cannot go where God is taking you next. I think about the story of Abraham in Genesis chapter 12. God did not tell Abraham to leave the bad people. He told him to leave his country, his people and his father's household, the people he grew up with, the people he loved, the relationships that formed him. Because the promise God had for Abraham required a geography that the people around him were not called to. Some people in your life are assigned to who you were, not who you are becoming. And God, in His mercy, will remove them before they become an anchor that holds you back from the very thing He promised you. If a relationship has been fading recently despite your effort to maintain it, stop forcing it open. Ask God if He is simply completing its season. The second thing God removes is a version of yourself that cannot survive what is coming. This one is more personal than the first. And it is more uncomfortable. Because it is not about other people. It is about parts of you. The fearful version. The people-pleasing version. The version that needed everyone's approval to feel okay about the decisions God was clearly leading you to make. Romans chapter 12 verse 2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." Transformed. That word in Greek is metamorphoo. It is where we get the word metamorphosis. A caterpillar does not become a butterfly by holding on to what it was. It surrenders completely to a process that looks, from the outside, like dissolution. Like nothing is happening, like everything has gone wrong, and then it emerges as something that could never have existed without the full death of the previous version. If God has been stripping away old habits, old mindsets, old ways of seeing yourself that you built your identity around, that is not destruction. That is transformation. And the version of you on the other side of it is the one capable of carrying what He has been preparing. The third thing God removes is a dream you were holding that was smaller than what He actually has for you. This is the removal that confuses people most. Because they prayed for this dream. They believed for it. They built their entire expectation of the future around it. And then God let it fall apart. And they spent months asking Him why He would give them a desire and then take it away. But He did not take it away because He was done blessing you. He took it away because your version of the dream was too small. And if He had given you what you asked for, you would have settled for it, and never discovered what He had actually been preparing. Ephesians chapter 3 verse 20 says, "Now to Him who is able to do immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine, according to His power that is at work within us." Immeasurably more than all we ask or imagine. If what you lost was something you asked for, God might be replacing it with something beyond what you were capable of imagining when you prayed that prayer. The fourth thing God removes is a false sense of security that was replaced Him. Sometimes God removes stability not to punish you, but because you stopped needing him once things felt stable. The job that covered every bill made you stop praying about provision. The relationship that felt certain made you stop seeking his guidance. The routine that felt safe made you stop believing he was doing anything new. Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 3 says he humbled you, causing you to hunger and then feeding you with manna, which neither you nor your ancestors had known, to teach you that man does not live on bread alone but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. He allowed the hunger so you would discover what the bread was actually pointing to all along. If something that made you feel secure has been removed recently, the question God is asking underneath it is this: do you trust me even now? Because the security he wants to build in you is one that survives every circumstance, not one that only exists when circumstances cooperate. The fifth thing God removes is a comfort zone that had become a cage. You called it stability. God called it containment. You called it peace. God called it stagnation. And because it felt so comfortable, you never once questioned whether it was actually where he wanted you to remain. Isaiah chapter 43 verse 18 and 19 says, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Do you not perceive it?" That question is pointed directly at the person who is so comfortable with the old thing that they cannot even see the new thing springing up right in front of them. Sometimes the most loving thing God does is make the comfortable place uncomfortable enough that you finally move. Not because he wants you to suffer, because he can see exactly what is waiting for you on the other side of the move, and he knows you would never choose it on your own as long as where you are still feels safe enough. I want to say something important before we close. This is not a message about becoming passive or detached from the things in your life. God does not want you to stop caring. He wants you to care about the right things, held with open hands, trusted to his management rather than controlled by your grip. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 and 6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." Straight. Not easy. Not free from loss. Straight. Moving in the right direction. Toward the right destination. Led by someone who can see everything you cannot. If you have been fighting a removal that God has been consistently confirming, I want you to do one thing right now. Open your hands. Not as a performance, but as a genuine act of trust that what he is taking was never going to take you where he actually wants you to go. Write in the comments, "Lord, I trust what you are removing more than I trust what I am holding on to." And if you know someone who is fighting a loss she cannot make sense of right now, send this to her today. It might be exactly what helps her finally stop fighting the very thing God is using to set her free. God bless you deeply. I will see you in the next one.